why the name Operation Sindoor?
Right.
If you could just briefly address that for those who are not familiar.
Right. Well, Operation Sindoor, actually, I thought was a brilliantly chosen name. The Sindoor, in case some Americans obviously don't know about this, is a vermilion mark that is applied to the center of the forehead of married women in the Hindu tradition. It's widely practiced. Some non-Hindus do it too, but more for decorative purposes. But strictly speaking, the sindoor is applied at the time of the marriage ceremony and is worn every day thereafter by married women. So we were very conscious that these brutal terrorists, who, by the way, shot men in front of their wives and children, but spared the women. And when the one wife screamed out, "Kill me too," she was told, "No, you go back and tell them what we've done." That was why the women were spared. It was a horrendous, horrendous act. But that sindoor had essentially been wiped off the foreheads of 26 Indian women, or 26, I was going to say Hindu women, but one of them actually was a Christian. But the sindoor had been wiped off the rest by these terrorist actions. And so we wanted, first of all, to avenge that act of wiping off the sindoor. But secondly, it's no accident that the color of the sindoor is that bright vermilion red, which is not far from the color of blood. And in many ways, there is a Hindi expression that the khoon ka badla khoon, here sindoor ka badla khoon hoga, that is blood in response to what they've done.
In a long line of attacks. And one thing that's happened every time there's been a terrorist attack, like Mumbai, the one in Pathankot, the one in Pulwama, the Indian government has come out with evidence, maybe not immediately, but after a while, that show two things. One, that the perpetrators were Pakistani, or they were funded by the Pakistanis. And two, that these elements, the attackers themselves, were under the control of the Pakistani intelligence establishment. As you've gone around talking to the Hill and agencies and government representatives, have you been asked for that kind of evidence as it relates to the Pahalgam attack? Because we haven't seen it yet. I'm not doubting it. I'm just asking.
Well,
this time
it hasn't come up in most of our substantive meetings, but media likes to ask this question, Mr. Bharat. So I can tell you that we have been asked as recently as the National Press Club this afternoon. So it's a question that media likes to ask, and I can give you an answer, frankly, which had we been asked in our meetings, we would have given anyway. Number one, we have got a pattern since 1989 of repeated attacks, every one of which was denied by Pakistan and every one of which has been traced to Pakistan. The most famous or notorious cases have been Mumbai, 9/11. Pakistan's denials are on record, and then one of the terrorists was captured alive, and of course his address in Pakistan, where he lived, who trained him, where he was trained, everything was compiled. You remember that Western intelligence agencies, apart from our own, had recorded the chilling voice of that handler calling and giving minute-by-minute killing instructions from Pakistan to the killers. It is no longer possible for Pakistan to keep on denying. And yet, to this day, the dossier is compiled with all that evidence. Not one person has been prosecuted, not one person has been punished in Pakistan. But that's the pattern, and I agree that you can have somebody who does the same crime 99 times, and maybe the 100th time he didn't do it, right? Okay, so let me say the next one. When this thing happened, within less than an hour after the killings in Pahalgam, in this meadow, the LET front organization, proxy organization called the Resistance Front, claimed credit. Now, most of us didn't even know about this within that kind of time frame. There were no journalists around when these poor tourists were being killed, right? Yet within 45 minutes they had claimed it. So they knew they had sent these people out. They repeated that claim 24 hours later on their website. It's only then, with the world united in condemnation of this heinous crime, that the handlers must have realized, oh my God, this is going to get us all into trouble, and they said to these guys, delete your claim. But the fact is the claim was made, and it was made far too early for it to have been, shall we say, some sort of anything other than a genuine admission of responsibility, and from their point of view, a celebration of their responsibility for having killed innocent tourists. Third, India doesn't go to war on supposition and hypotheses. I can only say this much, that our intelligence agencies have identified, at least when I left Delhi, at least 4 of the 5 perpetrators. And they know their identities. They even have pictures, because some of these people have been involved in other incidents. So, I mean, intelligence work is beyond my ken and that of my delegation. But they have confirmed to us that 2 are Pakistanis and 2 others are locals who are known to have gone, or as the word is used, to have exfiltrated from Indian Kashmir to Pakistan 10 years ago. And they seem to have come back for this purpose and gone back again. So we have all this information. And we don't, frankly, in any case, go around taking such a major step as Operation Sindoor without very serious grounds for doing so. And I think you all have enough respect. I'm sure the international intelligence community has enough respect for India to understand what's going on. I'm frankly a bit puzzled that the media in the West has been reporting Pakistan's denial as if it has any. Have you already forgotten that they denied they knew where Osama bin Laden was? And where was he found? In a safe house near an army camp in a cantonment city in the heart of Pakistan. This has been Pakistan's record. Why on earth would you blithely report their denials as if they were real?
There's a Pakistani delegation also in town here. India's always treated the Kashmir issue and everything around it as bilateral.
That's right.
Whereas Pakistan has wanted to internationalize it. How do you square that idea with sending out delegations such as yours to engage and frankly internationalize the issue?
No, it's not internationalizing. It's actually, each delegation is functioning in the spirit of a bilateral dialogue with the country concerned. And every time that anybody asks, and that includes on the Hill, will you talk to the Pakistanis, or would mediation help so you can promote dialogue? Our answer is very clear. We cannot talk to people who are pointing a gun at our heads. And frankly, until and unless there is a serious effort being made by Pakistan to dismantle the infrastructure of terrorism, to arrest some of the well-known figures who are on not only the United Nations Committee's list, but even in the US State Department's designated terrorist list. If they can't be arrested, if their bank accounts can't be frozen, if their training academies, training camps can't be shut down, if all of these things won't be done by Pakistan, why should we talk to them? It's very simple. I mean, if your neighbor attacks your children with their attacked dogs and then says, let's talk, will you talk to them until they put away the attacked dogs or euthanize them or lock them up in a kennel or leash them at least? We've done none of those things. So for us, the message was very clear. No, we're not going to talk. And the reason we're not going to talk is because of the way they're behaving, not because we don't like to talk. I often say we can talk to Pakistan in practically every language they speak there. We have no shortage we don't need a third party to come between us and help us talk to them. But we won't talk to them until they give us some indication that they're worth talking to. I pointed out the entire experience of 2003 to 8, which was the peak of dialogue between India and Pakistan. Relations were good, there was open dialogue going on, and there was back-channel talks between Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's envoy and General Musharraf's envoy. In 2008, President Zardari's government came to power on a pro-peace with India platform. His foreign minister, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, was in Delhi on the day of 26/11 to sign a liberalized visa regime with India. What happened? So while you're talking peace with these people, having dialogue, and everyone is giving you great assurances, some other elements in that society, in that state, deep or whatever you want to call it, came and started killing, in our case, 170 of our citizens, and not just our citizens, Americans and other nationalities were also killed in Mumbai in 26/11. So what is the point of talking to people if they can't even control what their own, instruments, agencies and elements they have created in their society? If they can't control what they're doing to us, why bother to talk to them? If people we talk to are unable or unwilling to actually give us the peace we're talking about, then why talk?